Today I want to make up this video clip to help you practice. And one main idea, and this idea will get you through life easier. It's a lesson for life and also for practicing. If something is difficult, slow it down, get it correct at a slow speed, and then when you know you've got it solid at that slow speed, then move it faster. I mean, like when your mom's driving and the traffic gets really difficult, does she speed up? I don't think so. Okay, what we're going to do is 4 songs that are in the recorder time red book there. We're going to do Go Tell Aunt Rhodie and Sleep Baby Sleep, and also Lightly Row and Friends Are Sloppy. Well, mine are. The friends are neat. Okay? Now what we're going to do, we're going to play each song 3 times at 3 different tempos. Tempo is the speed. It's kind of like the temperature. When it gets faster, it's hotter. And the first tempo is going to be 80 beats a minute. It may be that you have a hard time at that speed. That's kind of slow, but you might have to maybe not play along with the recording until you got it. You know, you can move your fingers fast enough. And by the way, when we say 80 beats a minute, we're talking about the metronome marking. Metronome marking, the shorthand for that is MM. And then what we're going to do is say MM with a quarter note equals, just like up there, quarter note equals the number of beats per minute. So the first time we play something, it'll be MM quarter note equals 80, and then it'll be MM metronome marking quarter note equals 100, and then the third time, it'll be pretty fast, it'll be the tempo will be MM quarter note equals 120. So MM doesn't stand for candy. I like M&Ms, but it stands for metronome marking. Okay, so let's get on with it. Now, before we go on, I want you to embrace your metronome. I hope you have a metronome, and I want you to repeat after me. The metronome is my friend. Now, a metronome is like having a very annoying friend who's right about one specific thing. Like if I had a friend who was right about what to invest in the stock market, and he was right all the time, I think it would be cool if that guy was a little bit of a, if he had an attitude problem, that otherwise it might bother me, but if he was really right about this one thing, then I would listen to him. And that's what the metronome is. It's really right about the timing. Okay, so I'm going to set the metronome so it beats the first beat in each measure different than the other ones. You can do that with your metronome too, probably. One more thing I want to say, because we're going to be learning low notes, I want you, even though you're not using this hand, don't do this. If you were doing it before, that's okay. But now I want you to take your right thumb and put it opposite the 4th hole. So here's where your left hand goes to play a G. Your right thumb's going to be, oh, this is kind of cool. You can see through this one. Opposite the 4th hole. And your pinky is going to be just touching the bump there on the lower of the foot joint, just to kind of hold it steady. Also, have it in your mouth helps it steady. This is 80 beats a minute. Now, if you have hard time, this is the slowest tempo I'm going to take today. If there's a certain part that you have a hard time with, then turn off the metronome and work on that part. Or maybe you can turn the metronome on, but I'll show you in a second. Okay, this is Go Tell Aunt Rhodie. Okay, you hear that's number 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now we're going to do it again, and we're going to take it faster, a good bit faster. But you might want to practice it without playing along with me. Let's see. This is an even 100. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now I want you to give me some feedback on whether these tempos were too fast. But remember, if you can't go up to the next speed, then I'll show you an example. On Go Tell Aunt Rhodie, go tell Aunt Rhodie, go tell Aunt Rhodie. On the second Go Tell Aunt Rhodie, on the third and the fourth measure, that could be kind of hard because you're playing an A and then jumping up to a C, and then you're going to a B and then A and a G. So you might want to turn your metronome on at a slow speed. Let's take it back to 80. And I'm just going to play measure 3 and 4 over and over again. 1, 2, here I go. Over and over again until you can play it easier. All right, now I'm going to take it at 120. These are pretty big jumps. Remember, if you can't go to the next speed, then practice it without playing along with me. Oh, that's 138. Okay, this is 120. This is march tempo. Let's see how this sounds. You know what? I'm going to go over that third and fourth measure, just that measure at this speed. Okay, I think I've got it pretty good. I'm going to go through the whole thing. Notice when I played the third and fourth measure, at the very end of that G, I went right back on the next beat to the A. Okay, here we go. This is Go Tell Aunt Rhodie at 120 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now I'm going to do Sleep Baby Sleep at 80 beats a minute, and that's at the bottom of page 13. And here's the tempo. Now when there is a rest, I'm just going to say the word rest. And there's 2 quarter note rest. Now there's a half note rest at the end, but you don't need to worry about that because that's just, they need to complete that measure. So you can just go to sleep at that point. Don't go to sleep. Here we go. Sleep, baby, sleep. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. Rest. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to take the tempo up to 100. 100 sounds like a lot, but sometimes there's tempos as fast as 300. Okay? But don't worry about that now. Don't lose sleep over that. Here we go. Sleep, baby, sleep. Second time at 100 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. Rest. rest, rest. Okay, you don't need to say rest at the end. Okay, now we're going to take it up to 120. Okay, here we go. Sleep, baby, sleep. This is the third time at 120 beats a minute. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. Rest. All right. Now we're going to go on to Lightly Row, which actually is a German song originally called Hans and Klein. Hans and Klein gate a line. Hans and Klein means a little guy named Hans or Hansen. Anyway, gate a line means he's walking straight, and it's a song about a German guy, a young kid who goes off to learn his trade out in the world, and he comes back. And he walks past his sisters and his brothers and I think his father. They don't recognize him because he's all tanned. He's a man now. And when he walks up to his mom recognizes him immediately. I can't sing the whole song, but I started learning it at one point. I got to get back into it, I think. Okay, so here we go. This will be Lightly Row or Hans and Klein. And it is at 80 beats a minute. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. Okay, now we're going to do Hans and Klein at 100. Okay. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, it's important to remember, we're going to take it up to 120 now. Don't worry about playing it at 120. I'd rather have you play one of these songs or all of these songs at 80 and everything's neat than at 80, at 100 or 120 and you're making all kinds of mistakes. So don't move up to the next speed until you have mastered the slowest speed. Okay, Lightly Row at 120 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. Okay, remember the metronome is your friend, and let's see. I was going to say something. I think I lost my train of thought. I got a train wreck. It'll come to me later if it's important. That's how I always say. Now we're going to go to friends are sloppy. No, neat. Friends are neat. My friends are sloppy. Some of them. They're at 180. Okay. And by the way, this lesson about taking things slow and master them and then make them faster, this is a lesson for life. It's a lesson specifically for music, but it's a lesson for life. Okay. Okay, here we go. 80 beats a minute for friends or neat. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. Rest. Okay, one thing I wanted to say is remember to keep your right hand the way I showed you before. Now I'm going to take it up to 100. Okay, friends are neat at 100. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. Rest. Okay. Okay, this is 120, and this is the last time we're doing Rhodie. Well, when you go through these, you can just skip the second and third time for a while. Just make sure you can play all 4 songs at 80. Okay, here we go. And sometimes when I count it off, I give you 2 measures. This time I'm just going to give you 1 measure. But I usually say ready, go, right, as the 3rd and the 4th beat before you start. Okay, 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. 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 Okay. Have some fun with this. Just do the first one of each song at first. Don't go to the second one at 100 beats a minute until you've mastered the tempo at 80. You might not even be able to play 80 at first. So if that's the case, then work on the parts that are the hardest. The parts that are the hardest are going to be the ones that have big jumps in them, like the 3rd measure in Go Tell That Rhodie. It goes from it's not a big jump, but it is a jump. There's another jump in the last 2 measures, the second from the last measure in Lightly Row. And there's a couple of jumps before it. And then the jump. That's pretty easy. Okay, so some things are harder than others. You got to work on the hard things more. All right. Thank you.